Alright guys, I know this video has absolutely nothing to do with Ninja Warrior, it's a Geometry Dash level review, but that being said, I feel like, at least for my own sake, I have to make a review of this level, and honestly I'd rather put it on this channel than Insane Coasters, so here it is. Today I'll be reviewing my first ever Extreme Demon, that being Clock Tower by the Purgatory, and it was just about 15 minutes ago that I beat this level, and there's just nothing that can describe the feeling when I finally beat this level. And honestly, I think if it was any other Extreme Demon, except maybe something like EX or Junk Realm, but even then, I don't think those would hit quite the same as this level, and I'll explain why in this review. Now, to be completely honest, I have no clue how I'm going to structure this review. I'm kind of just winging it, because I had no clue I'd be making this review right now. I kind of just fluked it from 63, which I'm really happy about. I'm very bad at fluking levels, and yes, I know this level has like a 20% end screen, but still, like, I'm the type to die to the last 10% 5 times before I finally beat the level, so I was very happy about what I just did like 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, I don't even know. But it's still just so crazy. I was like shaking for a few minutes afterwards, just trying to contemplate how I just beat it. So I think first off, I want to go over the visuals of this level, because that is what truly makes this level special, are the visuals and the deco. Oh my god, this level is just so beautiful. It's perfect. The way everything is structured is perfect. I mean, the one scene where you got like that hand reaching out and grabbing your icon right before the drop is magnificent. And the second part in particular, I sort of split this level into 6 parts. And the part from like 20% to 30%, the second part, oh my god, there's just so much going on. It looks like a factory, but a beautiful factory, not like the ones during the 1800s or whatever. Of course, you got all these gears moving and it looks great. The animation itself is just perfect. Purgatory absolutely executed this like whimsical concept just beautifully. And that end screen, oh my god, it's so good. And it's especially satisfying when you actually beat the level, but even in practice mode when you get there, oh, it's just perfect. And that ascension into that end screen is also amazing. It sort of just looks like you're ascending into heaven. And right before that, you got this like real screen, and it's really weird. It's a lot different than the rest of the level, but I really like it. It switches it up. It's a little hard to read at first. It definitely took me some time to actually learn this part, but once you learn it, I think the gameplay's fine enough where you shouldn't really have a problem with the visuals. And that style right there is incredible. The start of the level is also amazing, just rising up through the shaft, and then you've got sort of that bit of light sprinkled throughout that little dark section that gradually leads into the light in that first like 1/6 of the level, and it's just so perfect. I mean, you're looking at it right now. It's such a beautiful level. It's absolutely like a top 3 level in the game for deco. And let's move on to the song and the music sync and just the sound design in general. The song itself is perfect for this level. I personally wouldn't say it's like an all-time great song or anything, but for this level, it's absolutely perfect. Overclock is amazing. The music sync throughout the level is incredible. They actually do such a good job for an Extreme Demon in particular. I mean, they make it so it's pretty much synced up to the music, but it's also difficult enough where you can absolutely mess up timings. I don't know how they executed that so perfectly, where it's both synced and like extremely difficult, but I absolutely love it. It's perfect for an Extreme Demon. But more importantly than any of that is the sound effects, specifically the gear sound effects. Oh my god, this absolutely takes you into a clock tower. You feel like you are absolutely immersed in that clock tower. I always say in my coaster reviews or whatever, if you're gonna try to theme up a ride and really make it immersive, you have to go all out, really go all in. And that is absolutely what the Purgatory did here for this level. The way you just have those gears setting the mood at the start of the level is perfect, and you hear it throughout like that first half of the level. It's so good. I mean, you just have to listen to it for yourself to truly understand how immersive it is. Like, there's very few levels where you actually feel like you're in the world that the creator's trying to put you in, and this is one of those few levels where you feel like you're in a clock tower. And the sound design and the music and the everything really just makes it sort of a relaxing experience. I mean, that's crazy to say about an extreme, but that being said, like, I never really feel stress. I never feel those nerves like you do even on some hard demons like Emerald Realm or something like that. It's just perfect, and combined with the short length, I mean, in terms of the actual length of the gameplay, it's only about a minute, so that combined with the visuals and the sound and everything, you don't really feel the stress. I mean, unless you get really far in the level, you're not really going to feel those nerves, but I will say, on my completion run, the first, 80% of the level was like, okay, whatever, this is, normal, but then the moment you hit, 63 or whatever, or 67 especially, oh my god, it just completely shifts from being completely calm to being, the most nervous person on the planet right there. And especially on that final ship part, ascending into the end screen, 5 clicks left, I know that's one of the harder parts of the level. I practiced that part so many times because I did not want to die to those last 5 clicks. And I'll get into the gameplay later, but it's insane how quickly you just almost black out in the blink of an eye in this level. It's kind of cool though. So let's actually get into the gameplay, which is really what you want to know about in a level. The visuals, everything can be incredible, but if the gameplay's horrible, I mean, you're just not going to want to play it over and over again. Before we get into the gameplay, I do want to note how hard this extreme actually is. It's definitely not a harder extreme, but that being said, it's definitely harder than something like Cataclysm, for example, so it's a bit of a step up from that. So that kind of scared me that I was sort of skipping that Accu Cataclysm type stage in the Extreme Demons and just skipping that step and going up to the next one. But I honestly felt like this one wasn't too terrible, and I think that just goes back to, 1, how good the visuals and everything is, but 2, the gameplay is actually very fair. And that's the most important part with an Extreme Demon, I feel like, or an Insane or whatever, is fair gameplay. It could be extremely tough, but it should always be fair. Nothing in this level feels cheap. But that being said, there are definitely some harder parts of the level than others. And I'm going to walk you through the level and tell you all about this gameplay. So to start off, in that dark part, in that little preview, you've got 3 clicks. They're definitely the easiest clicks of the level, just pretty basic stuff. But then the first click of the main part of the level is actually one of the harder clicks. You have to time it just right. You have to time it a little earlier than you think, actually. This whole first sixth of the level is one of the easier parts of the level, but there's a couple clicks in particular. In particular, 1 and 19% is pretty tough. That UFO part is kind of weird. I would say overall, though, this first sixth shouldn't really give you too much of a challenge if you're a good player. But then you've got the second part, and there's 1 click in particular in here that's really tough, and that's the first one. This ship timing can be brutal sometimes. It's sort of random, comes out of nowhere, but that being said, if you do it a lot, you should get used to it, and then you have to release at just the right time. I mean, if you're off by a good amount, you're definitely not making it. And the rest of that part with the UFO and everything is pretty fair, I'd say, nothing too hard. But then this next section, 30 to 35, I think is objectively the hardest part of the level. Some of the later parts might feel harder because of nerves and whatever, but I think objectively, just as singular sections, 30 to 35 is the toughest part. This ship section is brutal. I don't even know how many times I died to this part. I don't know how many times I died to the entire level, but that being said, this part is insane. You start off with a couple really finicky clicks, especially the second one that you have to time just perfectly, and then you have to know exactly when to click to avoid all the gears and everything, and when to drop down. And then the last click of this ship section, oh my god, even today this part gave me some issues. It's just so hard to see when to actually click to avoid all the gears and all the things that'll kill you, but eventually you'll get the hang of it. And then you've got a little UFO part, nothing too hard, before going into the drop. and I'd say this drop is pretty fun, and all the gameplay in this level is really fun, but the drop especially, if you can hit it just right, this 4th, 6th of the level is so fun to play. The first part of it is a little janky at first until you get used to what the sync actually does, but once you actually subdivide and everything, I think it's fine. And then you go up into this mini limbo part, and I would actually compare it a lot to Limbo. This is basically mini Limbo, and I think it's pretty easy to see why when you look at this gameplay footage. This part's just so fun, getting those timings perfect. The robot part at around 50 is pretty tough, I would say, being that precise with the robot, but you'll get the hang of it for sure if you're a really good player. And then you go into the next part of the drop, and there's a couple clicks in particular here that I want to point out. One of them being this first pink dash orb, and this one looks pretty normal. It's actually like a top 5 hardest click of the level. It's actually insane. I don't know how this dash orb works, but it's so weird. You have to click late on this, but not too late. And you have to hold it for a bit, but not too long. And it looks like you should just be able to hold it and fall down whenever, but you can't. It's so weird how it works. But once you understand how it works, it's fun. And then the click right after, oh my god. This is so hard to tell if you're going to be right on time or not. I have died to this part so many times in practice mode and in normal, and it's just so precise. The rest of it's pretty okay in this part. I will say the blue orb towards the end after that other dash orb is pretty tough. You have to be really early on that, but it's pretty fun, this whole section. And then you get into the last 6th, the real section. And this is, like I said, pretty hard to sight read, pretty impossible to sight read actually. This is the part that's a lot like Limbo, just a lot of memorization, but it's fun. The music sync here is perfect. Again, I don't know how they made the music sync this good and the gameplay this hard at the same time, but it's exactly what an Extreme Demon should be. The first few clicks are alright in this, and I will say I've only died to this section one time, and it was the first black orb click. Other than that, I've beaten this section, as I only got there twice, once when I died to that first click and once when I beat it. The section right after those first few clicks is really fun. It's tough to learn, like I said, but once you get it, the music sync is so good. You don't have to click on every single 16th note in here like I do, but I think it just works better if you do. You don't have to actually memorize when to click and when not to click, and you're not going to die from clicking on every single 16th note in this little run here. And it's just so fun. It's so satisfying. You've got a few more hard clicks with, again, some interesting timings that actually somehow work before the ascension into the end screen. Oh my god. I practiced this part more than I've practiced like any other part of a level, period. Because I did not want to die to this part. I could tell you for sure, my nerves going into this part were higher than they've ever been for a Geometry Dash level, because I did not want to die to the very end of an Extreme Demon. That would just be brutal. And thank God I didn't, but oh my god. You've got a few little orb clicks, a few little just normal icon clicks, nothing too bad, but again, with the nerves, they could throw you off. And then you've got the ship part before 2 little clicks with your icon before getting the end screen. And this ascending ship part, oh my god, it's so hard if you don't know the click pattern. I personally do like triplets and do 3 clicks on this ship part, and you have to know exactly how to hold it so you don't die to it. It's one of the harder parts in the level. And then you've got these last 2 clicks. The second to last one is just really basic, really easy. But then the very last one is pretty easy to die to if you don't know to wait to click. You definitely have to be late on this click if you actually want to get to that end screen, which is kind of insane that they throw in a click that confusing at the very end. But again, once you actually understand it, it's really fun. And this level's not like super annoying to learn because of those visuals, because it's like, okay, I'm learning this really tough level, but that being said, I'm looking at just some of the finest art ever created for sure, so it doesn't really matter. And then of course you get that end screen, you sit there for about 24%, and the end screen's perfect. You see the clock tower and everything. You get that Purgatory logo and everything. Oh my god, it's just so perfect when you finally get that in normal mode. So for Clock Tower's final score, it's pretty obvious I'm going to be giving it a 10 out of 10. It's just a perfect Extreme Demon. Like I said, levels like Nelv, EX, they sort of look like they come close. I wouldn't necessarily know because I haven't done them. I'm considering doing EX. It looks really good, but we'll see about that. I might take a break for now. But even levels like those, I just don't think they compare to how beautiful this level is. Like I said, definitely a top 3 level in the game for visuals and deco. The sound design might be the best of any level in the game. It's incredible. And then that gameplay is about as good as it gets for Extreme Demons. This is currently my second favorite level in the game. And I'm considering doing like a top 25 levels or something at some point if you guys actually want, but if you guys don't want, that's fine too. But I just had to make this review because I just beat it and I definitely need to rave about this level because it is pretty much perfect. The only thing I would change, and this sounds really stupid given that it's an Extreme, is I wish it was longer. I wish there was more of this perfect artwork and everything, but it's whatever. It's easier work for me, I guess. I'd definitely still be playing it right now if it was longer, so I can't complain. So that is my review of Clock Tower by the Purgatory. And let me know what you guys thought of this video down in the comments below. Do you want more Geometry Dash, or should I just shut up and do more Ninja Warrior? Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.